This is the first video for Week 10's test. This is 10.1a. We're going to look at how we solve a two-step equation when there are decimals to distribute first. So what I told you back in class, and what I would always recommend doing with a problem like this, is first get rid of the decimals. People don't like working with decimals. Students don't particularly like decimals. Adults don't particularly like decimals. So if we multiply both sides by 10, since we're trying to move this decimal one space and this decimal one space, that's how we selected 10, we're going to end up with the problem 25x minus, now let's go back a step. Let's not do the 25x minus, let's get that parentheses in. 25 times x minus 8 is equal to negative 125. The only thing that changed was that instead of a 2.5, we have a 25. Instead of a negative 12.5, we have negative 125. Now there are two ways that you might solve this. So I'm going to show you both of those ways. I'm going to show you the one that I prefer, which is to take the 25 outside the parentheses and treat it like a coefficient. And it really is, in a way, a coefficient. It tells us how many groups of x minus 8 we have. So we're going to treat it like a coefficient. We're going to divide by that coefficient. That equals 1. 1 times x minus 8 is x minus 8. On the other side of the equal sign, we also divide by 25. 125 divided by 25 is 5. So negative 125 divided by 25 is negative 5. Now we add an 8 to both sides because this says subtract 8, or if we change it to an addition problem, plus negative 8, the opposite is plus positive 8. However you set that up, here we get x on this side. And this might really help if you still get stuck on these problems. It might really help to think about this. We've got 5 negatives. We've got 8 positives. 6, 7, 8 positives, which means we have 5 zero pairs. 5 zero pairs. And we end up with 3 positives left. The second way that you might choose to solve this problem, same setup after we multiplied it by 10 to get rid of the decimal. And you could go ahead and distribute. You could distribute the 25 to the x, the 25 to the 8. And if you're going to do this, I'd recommend you make this plus a negative, so you keep in mind that the 25 positive times the 8 negatives will give you a negative number. So 25 times x is 25x. Let me change the color back on that because I like to save the red for when we're actually canceling something out or dividing by a coefficient. 25 times negative 8 is negative 200. All of that equals negative 125. We have to add a positive 200. Add a positive 200. Now, once again, we don't want to draw out 125 negatives and 200 positives, but let's just write down what we would have. If we did that, we would have 125 zero pairs. Keep that in mind, because that's going to remind us that these two cancel each other out. They don't get combined. They don't end up with 325 of something. There are actually some canceling that goes on there. So we end up with 25x is equal to negative 125, positive 200. There are more positives. There are more positives. There are 75 more, so we have a positive 75. We go ahead, we divide both sides by 25, because doing it this way, that's the coefficient of x. and we get x is equal to 3. Notice it doesn't matter how we solve it, we get x is equal to 3. Okay, so watch the video again if you need to, and then watch the preview video that's going to be coming up when we get to concept 11, because I'm going to include in that preview video a sneak peek at what happens when one of these is a fraction, not a decimal.